thank you for all you do. Here from Missouri, we're all thinking about you every day.
Thank you for your service, and we appreciate you taking care of us.
I am so grateful for your sacrifice and your service. Thank you.
Welcome to Trucking with OOIDA and the start of our Truckers for Troops campaign.
Since 2007, OOIDA members have raised more than $800,000 to send care packages overseas to active duty military and in recent years toward veterans in need here at home. We're about to talk with 4 people who have been instrumental here at OOIDA headquarters in launching this campaign and making it what it is today. But we're going to need your help making this year's Truckers for Troops campaign take off.
There are several ways to donate. One is by joining OOIDA or renewing your membership. From now through Sunday, truckers can join or renew for a discounted rate of $35 for 1 year. 10% of dues will go towards Truckers for Troops, and OOIDA matches those funds. Members can also donate directly to the fund by going to the website ooida.com/T4T or by calling 816-229-5791 during business hours and letting the operator know you'd like to donate.
We're going to have coverage all week long to commemorate Truckers for Troops, and the underlying message throughout is going to be giving thanks and support to the brave men and women who raised their hand to defend the Constitution, whether they're still in the military or are veterans. So without further ado, let's start at the start of Truckers for Troops, which takes us to 2007. And for that trip down memory lane, we've got a full house today. We welcome in Jamie Jones, Brad Hennon, Narita Taylor, and Nikki Johnson. Thanks for joining us. Let's go back to the beginning here. The year is 2007. The iPhone launched. The final Harry Potter book was released, and Truckers for Troops was born. Who was here for those early days? Raise of hands. I guess not great for radio, but we've got, yeah.
Yeah, I think we all were. I was the only one, I think, here that was on the radiothon.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it was wild times
It
because
sure was.
we didn't know what we were getting into.
No.
Yeah.
We had a great idea, we thought, but that was it.
Yes.
And let's talk about the idea, because before we get into the details of what it became and what it is today, I think it's important to kind of go back to that beginning stage and the idea, where this idea came from, because it has grown so much and it comes out of a great place. But do you recall, maybe, Nikki, how the idea kind of came about?
Well, it's just natural that there are veterans in the trucking industry, and we saw the need for care packages overseas, people missing home. And we thought, if I remember correctly, we could get $5,000.
That was our goal.
That
yeah.
was our goal, that we would be doing great. And lo and behold, I think it was somewhere around $52,000.
A little more than 5,000.
And we're like,
Wow.
what do we do now?
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, it's kind of, it's like when you drop those little animals in the water and all of a sudden it's bigger than the bowl, you're
yes.
kind of like, what just
We're
happened?
going to need a bigger bowl.
But the other thing, and okay, we had the iPhone, Harry Potter, and all that other stuff that you talked about. I think it's also important to understand where we were with military activity
Absolutely.
at that time. And not only did we have future members who were actively serving in war zones, we had veterans who were members who were going and contracting with KBR. And
I had forgotten.
yes, and they were hauling mail to the troops.
Absolutely.
And they were talking about how excited the troops got when they got mail from home.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they felt like that was, even as contractors, they felt like that was their mission, was to deliver something from home. And I think subconsciously we realized that and grabbed onto it.
Yes. And we do things big around here. We didn't send the free USPS box. We went and got donated boxes, I think from Zarda one year. Zarda Barbecue is a local barbecue place here. And the boxes were huge. And we just remember how excited they were when they got those and the sharing that took place.
Yeah.
What was like when talking to the mail room and talking to the ones who worked there and, showing them these boxes. What was that
Yes.
like when they heard the logistics of that?
And maybe, Brad, that was
Yeah.
your moment where you're like,
Wait a second.
how are we going to do this?
That's where we emptied the garage.
Well, and that's kind of where I came in, is the logistics part of it, where whenever they was ordering so much from Dollar General, Dollar Tree, that we had started to have to take the box truck up there to unload stuff off their dock.
Yes.
And then from there, I think in the early days, you guys were like 50 boxes or something, and you guys were coming in on the weekends to do it.
Yes. And as I mentioned earlier before we started this recording, that we were shopping with carts and filling those with Dollar Tree and Dollar General items. So you can only imagine
a
what
$50,000
that was like.
Dollar General.
You
Actually,
know,
things
my
were $1.
gosh,
Yeah,
yes.
that's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would have
And-
hated to be in line.
Yes.
We were
behind
just
us.
thinking that
I
we're the
know.
cashier.
I would be like, "Oh, you
Oh,
only
no.
have 50 things. Go ahead."
Yeah.
Everybody's like, what are you doing? And that's when insert Brad, like, we need help. We need a better way to do this.
Yeah,
Have you
and so-
figured one out?
Well, and so eventually, after we went from the 50 boxes in the cafeteria on the weekends to, okay, so we need an assembly line. So we set up an assembly line in the garage and started dealing with everything with pallets.
Yes.
And then we was processing 350 boxes in a day that was going out the door. So it grew really quickly.
It sure did.
That's wild. Yeah, that's great.
And what I'd like to point out is this was our determination to do this ourselves. We will not outsource any
No.
of this. It's
Every
not
dollar.
it's not necessary, and we know we can do it. So
Yes.
that's what we're talking about here, is our determination to make sure all of what is donated goes towards the packages themselves.
And we had so many. I mean, the team here at OOIDA bought in so hard.
They sure did.
And they still do to this day, and that you were never looking for volunteers. It was
No.
never. We were churning volunteers away, and it got to the point. It was so big that members, even if they knew they were coming through the area, would ask, "When is Truckers for Troops packages? When's that happening?"
Yes.
And we had members coming in and helping pack.
We did.
Yeah.
Yes.
And like when we had the assembly line in the garage on that day, I mean, I think people were rotating in and out every shift or every hour in shifts because everybody wanted to help. And it's like, well, we don't want to turn anybody away. So
Well, and it was 30 degrees in the garage.
it was
let's be honest.
freezing.
1 year.
Right. That's incredible though. And Nick, you talked about the expectation in those early conversations. You thought, oh, maybe we'll get $5,000 and we'll start this thing off kind of
Yes.
small, and it obviously exploded really quickly, which every time we do one of these every year, it always comes back to me just the generosity of the truck driving community, especially
Absolutely.
back in 2007, as Jamie, you pointed out, there were, wars going on, and
Yes.
there were a lot more men and women overseas, doing what they do. But that must have just been an overwhelming feeling for you all too, to realize, oh my gosh, like we've got a community here that really cares about our men and women overseas.
I think it's something we've always known it, especially the
Absolutely.
media, the
Yeah.
media arm, because we showcase it every opportunity that we get. But when we saw it in action, because 07 was right on the cusp of the 08 recession.
Yes.
And so then we hit 08 and we're like, well, we sure aren't going to top last year.
And
And
kept on going.
it kept on going.
Yeah.
And
there was a true need, and they were it was close to their hearts, and they were very compassionate about that.
well, so many of them, again, you referenced it. It's that connection.
Yes.
They were veterans themselves. They had children serving. They
Yes.
had, they knew the importance of those packages.
Mhm.
And I think that's what made it all the better.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Those are, go
No,
ahead.
you go ahead. You're good.
Those early care packages, Brad, and you all were talking before we turned the mics on here. The care packages, and we can talk about this a little bit later too, not as big a focus now for good reason. Jamie, as you've pointed out before, that means we have fewer men and women overseas who are fighting in active war zones. But those early care packages, the number of things that would go into each box and the types of things that would go into each box.
The weirdness.
The weirdness. But it was with the purpose, though,
It
right?
was.
Everything
Yes.
was well thought out, and you were
Yes.
trying to give them a variety of different things. Brad, do you remember what those early care packages had in them?
Well, it was always a mixture of stuff. We had places would donate books, so we would send books. We always had some snacks, beef jerky, M&Ms, things that they may or may not be able to get over there.
Hot
And then-
sauce for the MREs. We did that
Yes.
some. Yeah.
We did the hot hands things
Yeah.
at one point. But then we also did some fun stuff like silly string and footballs and, something to little R&R.
Uh-huh.
The
Yeah.
squirt guns.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. I forgot about those.
Oh, that's one of two of my favorites. So Tennille Flick, the traffic coordinator for Trucking with OOIDA, her brother was serving at this time.
Yes.
And two purposes from the silly string and the squirt gun. One, the silly string, they used it to find tripwires.
I love
Yeah.
that story.
Yes. I
And
mean,
And that wasn't the
That's
design when
great.
you sent it
That
over
was
No.
not
by
the
any
design.
means.
No.
But they're so creative, and they
well,
knew how to
and
use it.
necessity's the mother of invention,
yep.
that kind of thing. But to know that we were literally helping to save lives with these care
Yes.
packages was huge. But the other one, Shane and his unit got the squirt guns and filled them with, I think, and forgive me, it was like Canoe or Aqua Velva.
Aqua Velva, yeah, I think that's
don't,
what it was, yeah.
and had a squirt gun fight in their barracks, and they said that thing reeked for weeks.
Yeah.
I can't even
afterwards.
imagine.
Gosh.
Yuck.
Yeah.
My personal favorite was the self-heating coffees.
Yes.
they
Everyone
love that.
loved those.
Can't get them anymore now.
cannot.
If anybody has them, I don't know anyway.
Yes.
Are
those
they
were
illegal, Narita?
fantastic.
The manufacturer couldn't make
didn't
them
make it
anymore.
anymore. Oh, really?
It was really
Interesting.
weird.
Well, they got bought out, and then whoever bought them didn't continue. But it's patented, so
Mhm. So we tried for
can't
years to
argue.
get
Mhm.
those. Yeah.
The focus, as we talked about, has kind of shifted, not, I guess, a little more toward VCP and Veterans Community Project, which we'll talk about here. But the care packages, they do still go out, Nikki,
They do.
and we are always looking for people.
We are always looking for addresses of your loved ones, friends, acquaintances that we can share a care package with. And our care packages are big, they are for sharing. So we would love to hear from anyone that has an address, and that is at troops@ooida.com. And if you send those addresses in, we would love to fulfill a package.
And one thing we've always stressed is we want these to go overseas. And
Yes.
I'm going to make a plea, and I'm doing it here live. I'm going to spring one on everybody. No, I have family in Alaska, and the Delta Junction Air Base is essentially a frontline
Mhm.
air base. I mean, it's literally a skip across the strait to Russia.
Sure.
So I think they qualify.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
We share the love.
I'll chime in, Jamie. And, in a lot of the research I've been doing, trying to find ways to expand our ability to send more care packages, what I've learned is that just because someone is domestic or, stateside, that doesn't mean that they can leave base, or the nature of their assignments may be such that they can't go and get M&Ms and silly strings. So, there are, I think, some legitimate needs in that area
Yes.
as well.
So plead your case when you send in a name. That's what we're saying.
And times are tough today. Not everybody has the funds to send care packages. I mean, the shipping cost alone before even packing the box is outstanding. So,
Brad knows that.
Yeah, for sure.
So yes, send those addresses. We would love to be able to help send a piece of home.
Jamie, there's something I wanted to ask you. You mentioned a radiothon, which I'd be curious at what age cuts off at people would know what a radiothon is.
Well, and I actually corrected the term because for years it was called a telethon.
Telethon.
And
Yeah,
I was
and
like, dude, we're not on TV. It's a radiothon.
Jerry
Yeah.
Lewis is what it
Yeah.
reminds me of. The Jerry Lewis telethon.
Uh-huh.
But talk to me about how, this sitting around this table, I think this very table, how that played a part in getting the word out about what OOID was doing.
Yeah, and I mean, for those of us of a certain age who know what a telethon is or whatever, there was kind of a rough kind of format that you followed, and you had to hammer on the number. And God love Mark Rettig. He leaned into that so hard, telling the phone number to call and all of that. But back to that first year, what we didn't know and what we didn't expect was for membership to be coming to us and giving us content on the fly.
Yes.
And people calling in with their stories. And we were, it was kind of like some of the journalism two source rule and all that flew out the window. And we were just like telling these heartfelt stories. And then after the first round of packages came out, the next year we had letters and photos and all of this. And so it was so easy to tell these stories. But I think the heart and soul of it, especially in the beginning, was Reed Black. He was an Army veteran, served in Vietnam, and he recently passed away. I am not going to cry, but he was so proud of his military service and the care packages, especially to a Vietnam veteran who didn't have the ticker tape parades and didn't have that welcome home.
Right.
It meant more to him to lean into this 110%. And if you were tired or whatever, or just bummed out that day, you came in here and sat down and you just borrowed his energy.
Yes.
So, and that's what made it, I think that's what made it so special and easy to buy in 100% to the cause from the drop.
Yeah.
And don't forget, we're a bit competitive around.
I was going to bring that up.
Yay!
I was going to bring that up.
Just a
The
little bit.
branches
Just a little bit.
competition. Who wants to go through the branch? Jamie, it's probably you because I think you were on the
I'm
losing
one
end of that.
Well, and I initiated it. Stupid me.
Walked into that one.
Okay, so I referenced Reed being an Army vet, and he talked about his service, and it was
a proud Army vet.
Very proud,
yes.
and never to diminish that. I don't want to say that competition and games and stuff like that was meant to diminish that.
Not at all.
But he just would, we were 3-4 years in, and he would just go on and on and on. And I was like, that's it. Right here, right now. I'm going to bet Reed Black that one other branch of the military, because people would call in and say, go Army, go Navy, or whatever, when they would make their donation or join or renew or whatever. And they started keeping a tally board. And of course, Army ran away with it every year. And so the first year I said, you know what? Any other branch beats Army, you have to wear a Jamie Was Right t-shirt all day at work. I lost. I wore a Reed Was Right t-shirt all day long.
There's photographic evidence of that as well.
Certainly is.
Yep. And he's very smug in that photo with me wearing that t-shirt. And it went on a few more years, and I finally stacked the deck, and I put every other branch against Army, and
including the Space Force in
I
recent years.
I made up Space Force at that point because we didn't even have Space Force yet.
Yeah.
I was making stuff up, and so I finally won. And he brought the T-shirt in. The one that he wore was a camouflage, thermal, thermal underwear, kind of, what I'm talking about. But it was camouflage, and you could barely read Jamie Was Right.
Smart, very smart.
He was definitely very clever. So we haven't fully settled on the name, but I do, when you join or renew or make a donation and, throw your support behind a branch of the military, this is definitely dedicated in Reed Black's memory now.
Absolutely.
And, I think any of us who were lucky enough to work with him, he touched lives, and
he was a gem.
He was.
For sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the beautiful thing about this, as it continues, I mean, these stories that you tell about Reed
Will continue. Yeah.
will continue and live on, which is the beautiful part about that as well. It also speaks, and just to kind of go back to what I brought up earlier, but hearing you talk about how proud he was as an Army veteran, and the pride that our veterans feel, again, just the tie-in with the trucking community, and there is such a strong tie-in between veterans and truckers in the trucking community. This is a perfect example of how those two things come together in so many different ways. And you see it in the donations and the stories that come in and everything else. It really does give you a sense that there is a larger community, working here, which is beautiful in a lot of ways. Yeah. One of the things too, and Narita, we talked about the Veterans Community Project and the pride that, is out there. There are far too many veterans who are struggling right now. In recent years, as care packages have kind of become less of a focus, there has been a shift, I guess. Is that kind of the right way to say it, I guess, toward the Veterans Community Project? Narita, why them? Why were they chosen to kind of take on some of this donation money that comes in?
Well, first and foremost, they make it easy for us to do that. They,
Yeah.
they're headquartered here in Kansas City, but they're expanding nationally gradually. Their goal is to be in each state, and they have been gradually doing that, which we've been able to follow along and go to their new locations and bring a new kind of care package in the form of backpacks to help with what they do in providing services to unhoused veterans. And the other reason is because they are an organization that is able to help all veterans regardless of discharge status, regardless of red tape. So they're kind of filling in the gaps that the VA, the Veterans Administration, can't do. So they're there to help all veterans.
Yeah.
I like it how they say if you raised your hand and swore to serve.
Serving all who
Yes.
served
Yes.
is one way they put it too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's so tremendous to me. And I don't know. I think the allure to VCP for me with their tiny home projects and everything, getting them out of those tiny homes into a Habitat for
Yes.
Humanity's home, getting them back on their feet. I mean, that's the least we can do for somebody who, is defending us and our Constitution. But VCP's a wily bunch, and I think that's why OOIDA and VCP.
We get along pretty good.
Yeah, we're kind of the rowdy kids in the back of the classroom going, we'll do it our way.
Well,
That's
and
right.
I love the program too because we talk about care packages, and we're essentially giving a care package to those unhoused, but also to the ones in the tiny homes because they get to take those items with them
hmm
to start their new home, and I love that.
And we should explain too the tiny homes, and we talked already with Chris Admire. You'll hear that conversation later this week. And Jennifer Siebold, she's the Longmont location out in Colorado. But they talk about, it surprised me just how many veterans are struggling. And I
Yes.
can't remember the exact number in Missouri, but tens of thousands of veterans,
My
Chris
gosh.
Admire told us, are on the brink of essentially, not being able to pay their bills or live, every day based on what they're making. So they do have the tiny homes that kind of gets the headlines in terms of helping veterans who are experiencing homelessness, but they have so many services too that even if you're not homeless, you can go in there as a veteran if you need help with anything.
Mhm.
They are going to help you.
That's right.
And it's overwhelming just the amount of effort that they put into
Yeah.
it too. Jamie, you mentioned the Wiley bunch. There is no failure. I think Chris had said that to us too. There is no failure is not an option for them because they see these folks come in and they know how much help they need. And I know, Narita, you've been to a few locations that has to have hit you in a way too, right?
Yeah, the caring, the attention that they give to everything that they provide and how the environment they set up, having separate areas for where the veterans come in as clients to speak to them, having a quiet atmosphere. If executives show up in suits, they want to kind of segregate you away from those that are walk-ins because they don't want them to feel intimidated. They want to make sure it's a welcoming atmosphere, and they feel like the backpacks that we give them helps break the ice in those interactions. So that's
Fantastic.
why we keep doing it.
Well, and I
Yay.
think another thing that's that's so unique and awesome about VCP. So many homeless shelters that are out there, the vast majority do not allow pets. And Ashley, you've done a story, and I know,
Yeah.
Narita, this is near and dear to your heart
Mhm.
too. But I mean, tell them about that.
Yeah, I got to go a couple of years ago now, I think. And yeah, the gentleman has a dog, and it's on Landline Media if you want to see it. And I mean, who doesn't love
It's
to
a
see a
great
dog?
it's a great
Right.
Yes.
interview. It's a great interview.
But one of the things that he said that struck me was like, had he not been able to bring his dog, like he would have rather stayed on the streets.
Yes.
He wasn't going to seek help.
And you understand that too.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
he's,
yeah. I
you
mean,
know,
if you have a pet, you
part of your
totally
family.
get that. Yeah. And just how beneficial they are. And I know, like you mentioned, our trip to VCP, I don't know how many dogs we encountered and heard barking.
I wasn't counting, but yeah,
But it's
there were
just
quite a
such
few.
Ashley petted everyone. She
No,
yes,
she
could.
wanted
yeah.
to. She wanted to.
A service
She-
dog actually came up to me, and I was very
She-
tempted, but
She restrained
I
herself.
refrained.
Good girl.
But yeah, no, it's wonderful though that they offer that.
But that's even
they
part of the
recognize
service.
it.
Yeah, and
Yes.
that's part of the services that they offer. I mean, they actually help them with veterinary care
Mhm.
for their fur babies.
Yes.
You know, I mean, I don't even
Yes.
want to call
Well,
them pets.
One thing I want to add on the pets too is that we do the drive-in to in-house,
Oh yeah.
and we send all that stuff down there. So it's stuff that our employees have brought in to donate, and there's always a huge ton of stuff that is for pets.
Yes.
From toys to food to everything else. So, that helps, I'm sure, as well.
Absolutely.
for sure.
We
Nick-
love our pets around here.
I was going to
Yeah.
say, haven't you ordered dog treats
We
for the care
have.
packages?
We also, for military
Yeah.
dogs, we've also ordered for them as well over the years
Mm-hmm.
and sent them treats and leashes and different things that they
So if we
needed.
know it's going to a canine unit, we
Yes.
can tailor it
Yeah.
that
That's
way.
right.
That's
Or
awesome.
for a unit that has females and they have
Yes.
special needs, then
Special
they can do
needs.
that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, that was another one that I heard that, and I'm just going to be blunt. No, it was Afghanistan, and one of the units grabbed a box of tampons, and they were stuffing them in the barrel of their guns when they were traveling to keep the dirt out.
Isn't
Oh,
that
wow.
something?
So again,
That is
Yes,
innovative.
so
yeah.
many
I mean,
uses.
so many uses, and it's
Yeah.
just like, well,
Okay.
Whatever
Yeah.
works.
You know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how to segue out of that.
I stumped Scott Thompson. I win. Mark it off my bingo card.
We'll go to money.
Yes.
I don't know. I was just going to ask you because the donations. It is no mystery. It's not a secret that times are tough right now. We're on year 3, going on 17 of a freight recession. Rates are in the dumps. People listening to this, again, so much generosity out there, but understandable that times are tough. Money is tight right now. So we're asking for donations, obviously, with all that money going toward active duty military and veterans here. We should point out that all of that money that comes in is going directly to those efforts, right, Narita?
That's right. So it's 10% from the dues and then any straight donations. All
Yeah.
of that goes towards either care packages or the VCP.
And OOIDA is matching the 10% from the dues.
Oh, yes.
So
That's wonderful.
So yeah, that's one route to go if you want to make a straight donation too, and that a little bit goes a long way. I
Sure
would
does.
imagine Brad and Nikki do the care packages. Nikki,
Yes.
you're going to Dollar General every day, or I don't know
Not
how often you're
anymore,
going.
but boy, that was
We've-
fun.
We've streamlined a little bit, but
Yeah.
we still keep
have.
it in-house.
But I mean, $5, $10, I would imagine goes a
It
long
sure
way.
does.
Yeah.
Yes. Anything helps.
Yeah.
Well, and we used to, when you talked about the competition, circling back to the dogs, and I know this price is off now, but at one point, these care packages are so big
Hmm.
and everything that like the estimate for mailing and all of the contents and everything was $150. And John Osborne, who drove the OOIDA Spirit of the American Trucker, in honor of Sassy, his
Mhm.
co-pilot, he started the Fur Baby Challenge. And so
Yes.
people would donate the full amount for
One box.
one box. And that went off like wildfire.
Yes.
And and we had individuals. One year there was a guy, he had to drive like an hour to take his kid to hockey practice and was flipping through, I believe we were still just on XM at that point, flipping through channels and stumbled onto the the radiothon
Mm-hmm.
and was so moved by the stories, Reed,
Yeah.
that called in out of nowhere. Zero connection to trucking.
Yes, I
Called and
remember
made
that.
a donation.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so
Well,
That's great.
Just to give an idea on these boxes,
Yeah.
the boxes are roughly 2 foot square and they weigh up to 70 pounds apiece. So, I mean, that's the only requirement is it has to keep it under 70 pounds because otherwise the shipping cost goes
Right.
through the roof.
Yes.
Well, and to that point too, Brad, we were talking earlier before the mics got on again, but about using every single square millimeter of that box.
yeah, this ain't Amazon, dude.
No, there is no space in these boxes, and you
I'm
like
the Tetris guy.
I was going to say you like
Yes.
to game of Tetris, but I mean even the packing peanuts. Talk about that because he used actual.
Yeah, one
Peanuts
year
one
we
year.
actually we bought a whole skid of Hampton's Farms peanuts,
Yes.
and we used those as packing peanuts. And so once the box was all packed and filled, we just took a big scoop out of those and dumped them in there to finish it off.
Somebody overbought that year, so we had to get those peanuts in somehow.
There you go.
Well, but then you threw some bags in on top of it, like paper
Yes.
sacks,
Yes.
so they could just, scoop out
Yes.
some and,
Yep.
Hand them
you
out.
know, had peanuts,
Yes.
shelled peanuts for a snack.
If we
Yeah.
buy in bulk, we always try to include bags of some sort so they can share.
There's no space in those boxes left. Like they go out
No.
with 4 bands on a box. Like it's bursting at the seams as is.
It was
Yeah.
a process for
Yes.
sure.
Yeah.
I
And
would
you-
love to see that again, but
Well, and
not
that's
for the cause.
Yeah.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. Yeah. Well,
But
that's what I was
boy,
going to
those
ask you
were
too.
fun times.
The care packages again have gone down in number, but you're still sending them out.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Do you have an
Just-
idea of what's going to go in this year? How does that process work? Do you have a council that gets together and you're
We used
A
to.
debate?
We
Yeah.
used to when we didn't know what we were doing. But
Reed
now,
Reed was always on the white sock lobby.
yes.
He's like
Oh, yeah.
clean white
Clean
socks,
socks.
clean white socks.
Yes,
Yeah.
we've sent socks several times over the years. We always send jerky,
Mhm.
protein bars. We send some fun things like Brad mentioned, some candies if we can, depending on the time of year it is. Gets a little hot in Afghanistan.
Mhm.
We send hygiene items. So if they need foot powder or body powders, body wash, we send some medicinal items that they might need. And then we always include some fun things: footballs, frisbees, card games.
You got cards from casinos.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
yes.
You know, the retired
Donated,
dad.
I was
Yeah.
getting ready to mention the fact that on top of all the donations that everybody's given us to send this stuff out, we also get donations from companies or discounts from companies for the products.
We have.
So
yes.
it's everybody jumps in and
Mhm.
pitches in.
What the local Sonic one year we got a deal on, or I don't remember if they donated or we got a deal on it, but the packets of mustard and ketchup,
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
MREs, that you
MREs that
mentioned.
needed
Yes.
flavor.
Yes.
Yeah.
Always need flavor for those. And yeah, we've had just a variety of items that we've included over the years, but I do have some staples that I always try to include, and then I go through my head and determine if I think that box is full or not, and then that helps me decide what else we're going to put in there.
That's a great point, though, too. When people email in, if they've got someone in mind to send a care package to, I imagine it would be okay for them to send some suggestions like, hey,
Yes.
they're really hurting for this, or
We
they'd really
have-
like to see this or
We
that.
have done that before as
Yeah.
well. They say, for instance, the Little Debbie Christmas cakes.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody's like, my, cousin loves these, or my husband, or whomever. And so we put those pieces of home in there.
Yeah, it's great. And then just to be clear here again with money, the money that comes in goes toward care packages. What is left over, I guess, or whatever money is there also in the fund, also going toward Veterans Community Project sites. And Narita, you've been crisscrossing the country, giving out money to different VCP sites.
That's right.
And can you talk a little bit about what that has been like?
Sure. So we visited St. Louis and South Dakota and Colorado. Those are the VCP locations, in addition to Kansas City, that are up and running and have a staff and have a campus with residents. And we've given monetary donations of $10,000 and backpacks, several hundred backpacks filled with either hygiene kits, or in the case of Colorado, they requested winter kits.
Mm-hmm.
And then also what I'll call a go back to work kit, a kit with folders and pens and breath mints and inspirational note cards and pens to write with and things like that. So there's a variety of ways that they have commissaries at these locations. We are always looking for food pantry items, but obviously we don't want to fill our backpacks with cans of ravioli. But we can put snacks in there, snack bars as well. So it's a variety. It's customized to what those locations ask for.
What the need
And
is.
and sometimes when we visit, we are able to visit with the residents. Sometimes not. It is private. Their privacy is
Sure.
respected. But at my last visit at the Longmont, Colorado location, a couple of residents popped out and they were curious and wanted to talk. Maybe it's the atmosphere in Colorado. I don't know. But one of them handed me a walking stick that he had carved from a branch that he had found on one of his hikes. That particular location isn't as urban as the other locations, so there are some hiking trails nearby. And
Very
I thought,
nice.
it was a wonderful, wonderful experience. Louis Pugh was with us as well, and it was a really good experience.
A veteran.
Another
I
proud
was gonna say,
veteran.
yep.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, we've got a number of them in the building.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would also like to mention going in those care packages. If we have any teachers, Sunday school teachers, anything like that listening, we also love to get handmade or hand colored pictures, thank you cards. Don't have to do anything with holidays, just generic
Yes.
thank you cards. They love getting those.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many of those would come in with like
Yes.
capes on them, superhero
Yes.
theme
Yeah.
stuff. I
Dear
mean,
soldier, dear Marine.
Uh-huh.
yes,
Yeah.
and but I think that was the other thing that we really stressed early on when you said that, and it just reminded me. We don't typically send these out around the holidays. That's a popular time
Correct.
that families are connecting,
Right.
churches, other organizations. It's that the holiday tour, if you will. So we
Mhm.
kind of held back and waited until
It's usually like March,
yeah,
March, April is usually when we start.
when the need was kind of peaking
More
again.
of a
and,
lull in
Yeah.
donations.
hey, we
and
haven't,
whatnot, yeah.
and just a reminder, we haven't forgotten about you.
Right.
It's not one time a year, check the box and we're done.
Mhm.
It was something that we were meticulous about. So even if we had the Christmas cards, my kids, they were very young when we started doing this, and they would draw and do cards and stuff. And I had this wild idea that I would bring them in and we would do this segment because we had been to the museum at the Pensacola Air Force Base where the Blue
Yes,
Angels.
the Blue Angels.
And they were so pumped. And I was like, this is going to be great. And the boys got in a fight,
Mm.
arguing.
Imagine that.
Yeah. And Samantha sitting there just like dingy
In the
little blonde
middle.
that she was. And we got done and I said, just delete that. We're not using that. And Reed Black turned it into this hilarious segment. And so
oh my gosh.
yeah, one of the Truckers for Troops featured the Jones children in a brawl.
Can we get them back on now
Yeah.
and recreate it?
Oh, I'm
Is that every day of your life?
pretty much. It's not. They're
Yeah.
big now.
All right,
They're-
fine. Just to remind people, again, there's so many ways to participate here. You can join OIDA or renew your membership for a discounted rate of $35 for 1 year. 10% of that goes toward Truckers for Troops. OIDA matches those funds. You can also go to the website, oida.com/T4T. That's the number 4, oida.com/T4T, or by calling that number that Mark Reddick must have told during the radiothon about 8 million times, 816 229-5791 during business hours. Just let the operator, the person who answers, know that you'd like to participate, you'd like to donate, and they will take care of you there. As we close out here, just wondering if each of you can just maybe give us some final thoughts. Again, Ashley and I have not been around for nearly as long as you all have participating in this. But again, just the idea of the generosity of truck drivers out there and the importance of reminding our active duty military and the veterans who are back home now that we are thinking about them and we care about them and we support them in so many different ways. Just some final thoughts, maybe. I don't know which one wants to volunteer first. Maybe Jamie, what do you have to say there?
It truly is. And we appreciate everything that truckers are doing right now. And we know it's not easy.
It's tough right now.
It is really, really tough. But when you think about how many truckers there are out there,
Mm-hmm.
even a $1 or $2 donation each. I mean, can
It
you
adds up.
imagine what that would do?
Right.
And, to say that every penny goes into these boxes, we're serious. Well, I mean, if we had to come in on weekends and work nights and stuff, I mean, we would do it.
Oh, yes. Yes.
We would move heaven and earth to make sure that all of this happens for our veterans, for our troops. So don't feel bad calling in a $5 donation. Any little
Anything
bit, we can
helps.
stretch it.
Well, and again, now's the perfect time too. If you're thinking about renewing or your renewal's coming up, or you want to join, this is the perfect week to do it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
get the discount, and then
10% goes
10%, and then it gets matched.
Yeah.
So there's your donation right there.
It's
Yeah.
a win-win.
I want
Yeah.
to piggyback off what you said. A $5 donation can make a huge difference. I know when we talked to Chris Admire, which we'll hear later in the week, he mentioned a gentleman called in, fell on hard times. He needed $68 to pay his rent.
Yeah.
Just a one-time, wrote a $68 check, and that's what he needed to just help him through the month. So
And Chris, I think Chris Admire said he just got his checkbook
he
out.
just got his checkbook out and wrote the
made
check.
the donation
so it's
right then.
really, and every little bit helps.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and that goes all the way across the board. I mean, with the staff members here at OIDA, everybody jumps in, and all the administrative costs are all covered by OIDA.
Yes.
$5 is $5 to a veteran.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's not going to some, there's no overhead, and it's not going to this person or that person.
Yeah,
it's going directly toward.
It's not padding somebody's salary. I
If any-
promise you
No.
that.
If anything, we take that $5 and turn it into $7.50, just with what the other discounts that we can get on the products and everything else.
Sure.
That's a great point. Narita, final thoughts here?
Sure. Just want to thank our members for channeling their support for military and for veterans and for making Truckers for Troops as successful as it has been all these years. And know that, I know we've talked a lot about our packages, but we really do think our packages are far superior than any other type of package out there. And so if you know someone that knows someone that knows someone that needs a package, please contact troops@ooida.com. Thanks.
And I want to piggyback off of that too. We've talked about those contributing, but I want to thank you to the military, anyone that is currently serving or has served. We just want to thank you from OOIDA for your service.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Nikki for the win right there.
Yeah. Can't top that.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, all four of you, for talking
Yes.
with us about
appreciate
this. We'll see, continue to keep this thing moving here. So we appreciate it, and we'll leave it there for now. Thanks so much.
Great.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
And our thanks once again to Brad Hennon, Nikki Johnson, Jamie Jones, and Narita Taylor for walking us through the origin story of sorts for Truckers for Troops. There are, as we've been talking about, two big beneficiaries of the campaign. And we thought it might be a good idea, Ashley, if we'd hear from some of the folks who have benefited from both.
Yes.
We're going to talk to some former residents of the Veterans Community Project throughout the week, and including here in just a few moments here. But let's start with the care packages, if we could. We detailed a bit about what the idea is behind them and what's included, but there are a couple people who have received them in the past that we talked to. Both of them were serving overseas, as we know is the way it goes. Starting with Joshua Shoup, who knew a care package was heading his way. He just didn't know when. And the former National Guardsman had been told he'd be receiving a care package from a former coworker named Jay Southward while on his second tour in Afghanistan.
Yeah, Jay was my trainer when I started working at Van Wyck. That's a little outfit out of Sheldon, Iowa. They actually sent me the company sent me a care package too. So that was pretty cool of them.
And inside the moving box size package were some of the normal things you'd expect, things like candy, beef jerky, hygiene products, the list goes on, plus a few things you might not expect, like Nerf guns and darts.
I was not expecting Nerf guns. I don't know if maybe Jay knew about it because we had some, just not like a lot when we got there, and we were messing around. I would post videos of us shooting each other on Facebook and stuff.
A moment of levity in a war zone, one that Shoup said made a difference, and not just for him. He said he knows the care packages that are sent out to troops the world over make a big difference by bringing a little comfort from home.
It makes everything a little more bearable, And then really, if you're not expecting one, then you're like, oh, well, what's happening now,
And then we've got Shane Zeising, now a veteran of the Army National Guard. He was among the very first actually, to receive an OIDA Truckers for Troops care package. He was deployed with the Army National Guard in Iraq at the time, and although Zeising admits to not exactly remembering the particulars of when that care package arrived, he definitely remembers what was inside, from the coffee and the games to the silly string and more. But, and I think what's most important here, what he remembers most is how getting the care package felt.
It's a real good feeling. It kind of it reminds you that there's people back home that think about you and that you're on their minds and stuff like that. And that you're actually over there with a purpose, I guess, doing a meaningful job. It's a thankless job at the time, but there's still meaning to it, and you get when you're over there, you're by yourself. You've got the guys that you've deployed with, and that's your family, and you tend to, I guess, I wouldn't say lose touch with reality, but lack of better terms, you lose touch with reality, and you are over there, and you don't think about the little things going on back home, the little things that are going on back home, because you're over there to do a job, you're over there for a mission, and like when I was over there, my job was incredibly dangerous, and there were multiple times that I didn't know I was going to make it out alive, and when I would get back and I would see that package there, and it was more than just an envelope. It was an actual care package that was full of envelopes, full of letters and full of material things. That was great. It was great to realize that you are loved back home.
Two stories there that perfectly encapsulate what Truckers for Troops and the care packages are all about. But as we mentioned before, Ashley, there are fewer men and women in active duty war zones right now. So the donations that come in this week are also benefiting the Veterans Community Project, and you've got a little bit of that as well.
Yes, the Veterans Community Project has been a saving grace for many veterans, including Richard Middleton, who I had the pleasure of speaking with last year. He and his adorable dog, Loki, were residents at the Kansas City location, and he said getting that call that they'd been accepted was life-changing.
There's a joy that you basically... You fought hard for what you're doing. Homelessness is not it's not a great feeling. And once they said yes, it was like a weight off my shoulders.
Richard had been living in his car with his dog, Loki. The Veterans Community Project is one of the few shelters that does allow pets.
Well, it was life-changing because basically it's like I would rather sleep on the street with her than to give her up. Plain and simple.
He said VCP offered more than just a roof over his head and Loki's head, but also a place to get back on his feet.
And like, it's more than just a place. It's these people, all of these men and women here, and including all of the residents, will help you. All you have to do is ask.
So there you have it, Ashley. Again, it always strikes me this is a through line throughout my time here, and I'm sure yours as well. Again, and I've talked about it before, but just the generosity of the trucking community and coming together to do this, especially as we know times right now are not great.
Yeah.
So it really does help, and literally anything helps.
Every little
$1,
bit.
$5, whatever
Big
it may
difference,
look
for
like.
sure.
Yeah. We should probably go over again just how to get in contact and donate if you want to.
Yes, there's many ways to do that. One is by joining OOIDA or renewing your membership. Until Sunday, truckers can join or renew for a discounted rate of $35 for 1 year. 10% of dues will go towards Truckers for Troops, and OOIDA matches those funds. Members can also donate directly to the fund by going to the website ooida.com/T4T. That's T, the number 4, T, or by calling 816-229-5791 during business hours and letting the operator know you'd like to donate.
Lots of ways to donate.
Yes.
We've got lots of coverage coming up this week.
We do.
As we mentioned, Chris Admire of the Kansas City VCP location.
Had a really great chat with him.
Great talk with him. Really brought to light a lot of the issues that they are addressing out there.
Yes.
Jennifer Siebold is the executive director of the VCP site in Longmont, Colorado, one of the newer ones.
Yeah.
Great talk there as well.
Mhm.
And that is just the beginning here for our Truckers for Troops campaign for this Veterans Day week 2025. For everybody out there, thank you for listening. Thank you for all you do. And we'll catch you next time right here on Trucking with OIDA. Thanks for listening. Today's episode of Trucking with OIDA was brought to you by a dedicated team of people. That includes Jim Fetzer, Tennille Flick, and Kim Boren.
You can listen to new episodes and extended interviews on your favorite podcast platform and on the OOIDA YouTube page. Please subscribe while you're there. If you've got thoughts, we'd love to hear them. Call us at 1-800-324-6856 and leave a message, or send us an email to podcast@ooida.com, and we might include it on the show.